Are we ready?
Yes, sure. Thank you for being here today. Um, I want to start. Actually, I see some people I'm familiar with and some people I'm meeting for the first time. So nice to meet you. I will start with a small introduction of myself for who don't know me. My name is Ali Dayoub. I'm from Syria. I have a bachelor degree in architecture and also a master's in urban systems engineering. Um, Well, the title of the event is A Journey in Graphite, which is a journey that started in a completely different place and has evolved um, uh, during my evolution as an artist living abroad here in Debrecen. If I want to talk about my how I started and my foundation in art, actually I started in a very young age when I was a kid. I started mimicking my older brother. He was 2 years older than me, and he used to draw a lot. And actually, he was quite good for his age, and he was getting all the praise from family members and friends. And as a kid, I told myself like I want that.
Oh, you got
too.
envious.
Yeah, I want that as well. So I started mimicking him and started drawing, and after a while, I fell in love with drawing basically, and we drawed a lot as a kid, me and my brother. We didn't get a professional training or professional lessons in drawing, but because we drawed a lot, I developed my basic skills in drawing in some sense and like a steady hands to be able to move or uh, move my imagination into a blank piece of paper, and later helped me to enroll or to start my higher education as architecture. Um, Actually, I think my story as an artist is inseparable from my story as architect or architecture student. Um, um, After finishing my high school, I started studying architecture at the University of Arcadia. But the thing is, like during my study, during my life as a university student, um, it was like the war in Syria broke out, and unfortunately, with the first year as a student there, and of course affected me as many of the Syrian students negatively for sure, because like at the time everything was changing drastically, uh, like even the landscape was changing day by day, both physically and emotionally for sure. But nevertheless, during those years, I was able to learn a lot about architecture and about the importance of details. Where, as you know, like in architecture, a simple line can dictate whether the design is good or no, or even the building can stand or not. And I was able to also take this mindset in my early drawings, where I worked primarily with ink. But as you know, like ink is permanent, it's unforgiven. So which also taught me like precision and patience. Um, um, but it didn't give me the depth I was searching for, let's say, in my drawing. Um, and I think in 2019, as the things was getting worse and worse, the situation I mean in Syria, economically and even the everyday life, and my image of the future was becoming like more vague day by day. But luckily, I got a scholarship here in Debrecen to pursue my master's in urban systems engineering. And moving here, uh, also, it was a massive transition for me, especially because transitioning from a chaos environment around me to, and that was replaced by a calm and very quiet streets of Debrecen, which I think like it can be really, really quiet sometimes.
Oh yeah.
But for me, it was luckily, it was like more what I prefer in a city that I want to live, and also suitable for this kind of things. And in 2020, as many of us, I found myself in a lockdown because COVID also started. Also affected me, as many of us, negatively for sure, but also has, like, frankly speaking, it has also a positive impact on my artistic side, because I had a lot of time, for sure. And that's when I started to use graphite and pencil. And actually, I started drawing my friends, portraits of my friends, and I found the depth I was searching for, and I couldn't find with ink using graphite, because I could like mimic the texture of, for example, the skin, and also like see like how light, like for example, fall on the cheekbone, or even like capture the weight of a gaze or even smile. And after hundreds of hours of practicing and drawing, I was able to improve my technical skills in hyperrealism. And a lot of these photos actually was the result of those long hours of drawing and training.
Just a quick question. Have you ever considered trying airbrush as a technique?
What do you mean?
Well, you know, airbrush is when you spray paint in really fine layers, and you can also achieve similar shading effects as with your technique.
Maybe I tried it, but in a software version of it. I tried a lot of software like drawing techniques, but still like I can control the pencil and the eraser and the blender more. Like I found myself in this kind of technique more. Like even I tried, for example, for some period of time, I tried the acrylic, but I couldn't because it's like it dry fast. So I couldn't get the
and it's also kind of
technique
permanent.
So also
dries as a plastic.
Exactly. And dry fast, so I couldn't achieve this kind of blend or gradient. So I wasn't able to make it as realistic as pencil, but also like it was a good result for a beginner, I think. I guess. Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty impressed by these results, so I agree with you.
Thank you.
What I want to ask about your artwork is, obviously, if we look at these drawings and the ones behind us, it's obvious that you are very skilled with graphite and with the pencil. But you have 7 pieces on display, and 6 of them are female portraits. And the last one is different. So the last one actually conveys some sort of philosophical meaning, and then there's like a story behind it. So can you tell us a little more about how your style and how your themes evolved and how you got to this last piece?
Sure. So the portraits were part of my way, or my training path to get to the hyper-realistic results. And but after a while, I reached a point that I thought look as realistic is not enough for me. I wanted to say something, let's say, and it's not just like a simple photo. I want to have a depth behind it. So that's why the result of that idea, of combining my technique and hyper precision and patience and everything, my technique in hyper realistic and graphite, with the conceptual side of fine art. And like I didn't have training in fine art, but like through reading and like knowing more about artists and their way to draw, I thought about this kind of type of drawing, which is also like, as you said, a psychological, has a psychological depth, and also like it reflects somehow a part of the present, like the today Syria, for example, like how people perceive the reality, and how people like they say that this is the true, and we are okay with it, but they are lying to themselves. They are like, this is where came the blindfold and the broken mirror. Like I'm blind to the truth, and I'm okay with it. But even if I want to like remove the blindfold, I want to see the truth. Even if I did that, my perception of the reality is broken. So even if they decided to see the truth, they can't, because of like years of self-deception and like like collective lie that the society believe that it's true.
I believe the word hypocrisy is in the title of that.
Yeah, it's unconscious hypocrisy, the title of the painting.
So what is the hypocrisy part in it? Because obviously you can be blind to your actual, the truth of your actual existence, but what is the hypocrisy in it?
The hypocrisy that you say, no, it's this is the truth.
Okay.
I'm okay with it, but deep down they are not okay, I'm sure, and it's not the truth. But I like trying to lie to themselves that no, we are okay with this kind of reality. We are okay with like how things evolve, and this is the right path. But I think like deep inside they know that it's not. But they choose to lie to themselves, to like to just continue their life because it's easier for them, you know.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
It actually provides a pretty good transition to my other questions that I wanted to ask you, because I also wanted to talk about what it feels like as a Syrian or just any foreigner for you to live in Debrecen. And I also wanted to discuss the topic of immigration.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a pretty controversial topic worldwide.
Yes.
And I would say that especially in Hungary, the last several years politically and socially have been kind of challenging for me to observe how our government has been addressing the topic of immigration into Hungary or just through Hungary. And specifically Debrecen is interesting in the sense that it is, of course, the second largest town in Hungary, but it's far less metropolitan than Budapest is.
Yeah.
So the mindset of people is not as flexible, I would say, than maybe some of the peoples in Budapest. And I remember that growing up in Hungary, in Debrecen, and then coming back in the 90s, this was still a pretty self-contained and pretty uniform society. But since the late 90s, the town has changed a lot. On the one hand, this is due to a rising number of foreign students. And more recently, there's like an influx of factory workers driven by foreign investment. So my personal sensation over the last, say, 5 years has been that there's actually the ratio of foreigners in Debrecen is maybe higher than it is in Budapest. And at the same time, I don't feel that this town has become more metropolitan or more mixed. So it kind of feels to me like all of these different nationalities are living in self-contained pockets, and I'm not really mixing with the Hungarian population. So I have a couple of questions here that I would like to discuss with you. First one is, in general, how do you feel about living in Debrecen? Do you feel like this town has been good to you as a foreigner?
Actually, it was pretty good to me as a foreigner. Like I lived here since I came here, actually, basically from 2019. It changed a little bit, I think, from that time, but the changes, I think, like you can scale it to the all Hungary, because like for example the economic situation changed a lot. Like the price of the rent, for example, it like raised like drastically.
Yes.
And I think it was because also like because of the foreigners, and I think, I'm not sure, like the price of the rent for the foreigners is higher than the Hungarian, but I'm not sure
I
of
think
that
the price of rent is
information.
high for
Yeah,
everybody.
it got like
But it's
pretty
actually
high.
an interesting topic that probably the high number of foreign students is pushing the prices of rent
I think, yeah.
for non-students because there are so few dorms in Debrecen. So most of the students who come to study in Debrecen do not find dormitory housing
Yeah.
on the university campus, and they are kind of
So
flooding
they
the
have
regular
to, yeah,
market.
they have to find another solution. But yeah, but no, like everyday life actually was quite good. Like, but it's quiet. The city is very, very quiet.
Yeah.
Like compared to, for example, to Budapest. I'm not sure about the rest of the cities in Hungary, but I think like I can compare it to Budapest. Like there's like in Budapest, it's more like a student life, like a nightlife, for example. Like every
Yeah.
day you can meet new people every day, and like various scenarios. But in Debrecen, like you have to make an effort, for example, to meet somebody new, which is not student, and even like blending with Hungarians, it's pretty difficult actually, especially if you don't speak Hungarian.
That was my next question
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
So, do you think that it's been easy to communicate with locals, or is there like a severe language barrier that is hard to
I think
breach?
now it's getting better. I think because now like I can get into like for example a store or something, and I was surprised a couple of days because it was a small store, but they speak English pretty well compared to like when I came here, and nobody spoke English, and it was pretty difficult at first. But no, I think more and more people are like learning even basic English, which is good. And maybe I think like some people can speak English, but they choose not to because they afraid like I'm not good in English, so I don't want to speak. Like this is the language barrier. But now like with a lot of students coming to Hungary like every year, so they are like I think the Perceni people like getting used to it and starting to like take comfort in speaking English. This is what I noticed actually. But yeah, like in some cases it was difficult, especially if I want to go to like for a medical reason to the hospital, which like I suspect like the doctors should speak English, but many of them don't.
Oh, really?
So I have many like cases. Not the doctors, like the reception people or the nurses, like can't speak, and it's difficult sometimes to like to book an appointment and to communicate with them. Like I can't this day, I have to go, and so it's yeah. This is some kind of difficulties I faced here in everyday life.
Actually, last time I got an X-ray, I think the doctor was from the Arab world, so
Really? Yeah,
he would have spoken
yeah.
Arabic with you, probably.
There is some, yeah. If you are lucky as an Arab, you you get an Arab doctor.
So, has it been easy for you to mix with locals, or is your social life more limited to expats from other countries?
I think it's more limited, but like my experience, for example, at work, like the people at the office are very very nice actually, and it was like very easy to communicate with them and to blend with them from day one actually. Even if there was like some language barrier with some of the members, but nevertheless they are very kind. They try their best to communicate with me, for example, and with my friends that working also at the office. So in some sense it's easy, but in the everyday life, the social life, it's kind of difficult. Like even with my neighbors, sometimes I find it difficult to like to communicate with them because some of them they don't want to communicate, and some of them because they don't speak English, so they choose not to communicate because it's easier for them.
Have you ever had any negative experience? Like, did you ever feel like you were apprehended or maybe attacked? Well, not physically,
No.
but socially,
No,
or in any way because you were a foreigner?
Yeah, I get that. As a personal experience, no, I didn't have like any kind of like even any like remotely
Mm-hmm.
like kind of this situation. I didn't have any of that, but like I witnessed a situation in a street where somebody like in a car like called a slur word to like another person was standing beside me, which was
Mm-hmm.
like a racist slur.
Mm-hmm.
And like some friends told me like separate situations where like especially maybe old people like had like some experience, a bad experience with them.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like even the old people in my building were very nice actually, and Jafar can approve that with me because we used to like to be flatmate, and
Okay.
our neighbors mainly all the elderly people, and they were very very nice actually. Even
Mm-hmm.
they if they don't speak English, but like you can feel like the grandpa or grandma vibe
Okay.
from them. Yeah. So no personal experience, but like I heard like some words here or
Mm-hmm.
there. Like there was
All right.
a
Well,
yeah.
I'm
It's
glad
kind
to
of
hear that.
yeah.
Okay, the other thing that you already mentioned that I wanted to kind of also bring into the conversation is that obviously you belong to a generation of young adults who was very heavily impacted by the Arab Spring in 2011. And in our previous conversation, you told me that you were just fresh out of high school when that happened,
Yeah.
and then right afterwards, the civil war in Syria started.
Yeah.
So basically, you spent like 8 years of your young adult life
Yeah.
in a very unstable situation in
Exactly.
Syria
Like basically
before you moved
my
to
youth
Hungary.
life, like as I started university at 2010, 2011, this the year that I started the university, I entered the university, broke out, and like the situation it's gotten worse and worse, like year by year.
Yeah.
And so yeah, basically my university year, which is supposed to be the best, it was somehow the worst actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had fun for sure because life has to continue, but it could be better, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It could be better, and in some sense I like witnessed or participated on university life. Like I felt the student life actually after I came here, because this is what's supposed to be like.
Yeah. It was more relaxed
Yeah,
here
yeah, yeah,
and
more relaxed.
liberated.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Well, it's not a surprise when there's gunfights in your country that you
Yeah.
don't feel kind of secure. Um, what I want to ask you is, would you consider yourself a refugee of war?
No, no, because like I'm sure like I got lucky. Like even if the situation was bad, but even though like I was in a city that was somehow safer than other cities,
Mhm.
and I didn't have to like be in danger to get to Europe. And some people stayed on the road for 1 or 2 years to get the final destination for them, and then like apply for to be a refuge or
Refugee,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, refugee, and then they have to wait a lot also in camps or some sort of places. But no, I didn't witness that, so I can't compare myself to them.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that I'm expat, which is more suitable in name for my situation. But yeah, like in some sense, it's a little bit similar. And but like in comparing to their way to reach to the final destination was, I think, was way harder for some.
Mm-hmm.
But for some, for sure, it was like they were lucky and they got accepted like fast, and then they have like more freedom now to live in a better place. But yeah, for the majority, it was a bit difficult.
So even though your life was not threatened, I think it's safe to say that you probably would not have ended up in Hungary hadn't it been for the Civil
Yeah,
War.
actually, yeah, my plans before the war.
At this moment, global warming interfered with the event, and the camera shut down due to overheating. Let's continue listening to the voice recording while admiring Ali's artwork.
Actually, yeah, my plans before the war was to finish my university years, then study masters, then get a PhD and work as a like a teacher or doctor at the university, which I started to do that, and I started my master's degree after graduating as an architect. I studied for 3 years, but then I reached a point it's a dead end. I know that I will stay in the university as long as I can to avoid military service at my country. So it was basically a dead end. So I changed my plans.
Yeah.
Basically, I changed my plans like 2 or 3 times.
So life goes
because
on.
Of the situation.
Life goes on even though there's a civil war, but it doesn't go on really.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can live your life, but you can see the end goal, how it will turn out eventually. Like you can't plan and go like through with the plan because things are changing day by day.
Yeah.
And suddenly everything can collapse and you don't have a plan anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why I had to get out.
I don't know if you were following the news in the day, and I don't know actually how many years ago it was, but it wasn't that far in the past. That was a year when thousands of Syrian and other refugees were kind of herded across the country.
Yeah, there was
by our government.
Famous footage also for a cameraman or
a lady actually.
Tripped a guy with his kid.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that? And did you sense the political tension surrounding that entire time? And did you feel any negative impacts on you at that time? Or were you concerned that things might go sideways for you here in Debrecen?
I wasn't here actually. I was still in Syria when that happened. Yeah.
Was it so long ago?
Yeah, it was. I think in 2018. Yeah, 2017 or 2000. At the beginning of when the refugees started to get out of Syria.
So it made the news even in Syria.
Yeah,
for sure. That news person did.
Yeah. It was a famous footage, and the people
I knew it because it was done by Hungarian.
At the
journalist, let's put it that way, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, for sure, it was weird, and when we saw the footage, it was not nice for sure. Especially because you are Syrian, and the person who got tripped with his son is a Syrian as well, so you feel empathy for him for sure. But
didn't that deter you from coming to Hungary?
No, no, because it's a totally different situation. Because coming here with for example with a work contract or as a student, or your qualification got you here. You didn't just run out without and you will not be living and you give your burden to the government, for example. You live by you are legal here, and you pay taxes and everything, so it's a totally different situation. But you think it may affect you in the future in some sense, whenever something bad happened in Europe and the person behind it was even an Arab, not even Syrian. I think we can everybody feel it might affect us. It may affect us because the bad news always is the famous news. The bad person the bad news spread out faster than the good news, and the chance that you hear about the bad guy is higher than how would you hear about the good guy, for example. So that's why stereotype works actually. So yeah, I think you can imagine how can that affect your thinking or of your situation day by day. But no, the thought of coming here, no, it wasn't changed. like I didn't want to take that path and apply for a refugee, because I felt like that like plan can also like change by a law or something, and I will be affected, and my destiny will not be I will not be in control of my destiny. So I prefer the other way. Yeah, that was a famous incident. And because it was like, I think at the beginning of the refugee wave, so like still there is no bad incident happened. Like now I can understand if people like have a bad feeling about some sort of people because of bad incidents, for example.
Well, I think
and the economic situation and
I
everything.
think the people who are on the shit list of locals are the Chinese factory workers now,
really?
because of the battery production and and how that has very negative
and affecting the work
public
environment. I think like the positions, like taking positions or something, or
well, I think it's just a fear of large international companies taking over life in Debrecen, and probably it's salted with a pinch of racism.
Oh, okay.
But it's nothing that cannot be managed actually if it's handled properly. All right, so the last question that I had for you kind of ties your artwork together with the topic of immigration. You did mention that it's kind of difficult to mingle with Hungarians. You are more sticking to your expat social life, and also you mentioned that the town is kind of quiet.
Yeah.
And looking at your artwork, I had this thought that I wanted to ask you: is your art a form of escapism for you to get away from the dull evenings in Debrecen, or is it more like a way of self-expression?
Actually, it's embracing of the quietness, because you spend a lot of time, like you and the paper, and it takes like like hours upon hours of just layering and drawing, and so it's more embracing of that quietness than like escaping from it.
It's more of a meditation.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you have a bad day, for example, like you can meditate and like you feel yourself like clearing yourself or cleansing yourself. I think I found like drawing also like helped me get rid of bad thoughts and like just like focus on something, and then like I feel better after like a couple of hours of drawing.
All right, cool. Well, thank you for the discussion. I think we can open it up later for you to walk around and talk about your pieces.
Well, thank you again for being here.
Well, thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.